minute so they can wrap up. And then they will all come in here. There we go.
Okay, is everybody back?
Yeah, it looks like everybody is coming back.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're just gonna go down the list of each team lead and see if you guys got your names. So we'll start with you, Abraham.
So far we decided with the name Cloud 7. We have 7 members of in our group, and we kind of want to do something about Cinecloud. So we kind of mix with Cloud 9. So we instead of Cloud 9, we just do Cloud 7.
Nice.
Okay,
Very creative.
great name. Okay, and Adam.
We came up with a frame by frame, no specific like meaning to it. We just thought it sounded nice.
Okay,
It
okay,
does.
sounds good. Okay, and we got Avion, right?
Yeah, we had the idea of offshoot films.
Okay. Nice.
Offshoot.
For us, we just thought it was like a good idea. I'm sorry, I hear myself twice, but yeah, offshoot films. Yeah, I got you.
Offshoot. Okay, like it, definitely like it.
And
Sounds cool.
Evie?
And
Our
Evie.
name for our group is In Film.
Okay,
Okay, awesome.
in
And
film.
can I have the producer of each group just send that to me in an email as well? So that'd be helpful. And we can do that. We can do that later after the call. So did you
Okay.
guys find that the breakout rooms were helpful for you guys? You guys got into the small groups and actually really spent some time coordinating and working things. Did you find that those were helpful? Yeah, it looks like I got a lot of thumbs up there. Okay. So we'll try to do a little bit more of a breakout room so you guys can actually gain some progress in terms of coming up with the script, the story, the shot design and whatnot. So that way, I know it's harder to do after school and to coordinate all these people, to coordinate everybody. So we'll always give you some time during class as well to basically kind of, depending on if we have the time allocated for it, to get together and move towards getting the commercial done. Also, when you guys were in the breakout room, Jay, myself, and Dennis, we're talking about how we can maybe extend the due date for the commercials for you guys, because it might be a little bit tough learning the app, learning some of the core concepts of filmmaking, especially for the younger students here. I know Adam and Abraham, it's much easier for you guys, but for the rest of the team, it might be a little bit difficult. So what we'll do is we'll give you a little bit of more runway. So closer to end of November is when the commercial will be due. Okay.
Yeah.
But
So what we'll do is we'll finish most of the training and then we'll just have some check-in meetings to see how you guys are doing.
yeah, awesome. Okay. So with today's class, we're going to focus on two things. We're going to focus on casting and we're going to focus on project scheduling. So these are really important. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen here. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Okay. So we're going to go through the casting app here, and that's in pre-production, right? So we're going to go through understanding the casting process for film, learn how to create a comprehensive casting breakdown and plan, and then we're going to look how to implement it as well within Cinecloud. Okay. So casting is important for a few reasons, right? Casting is basically the cornerstone of a good shoot. Now, it's easy to write maybe, 10, 20, 30 characters in your script, but it's much harder to get the right character than into your film, right? Because you might have a very specific idea about how a character will look or act or behave, but you might not be able to find that within the small group of people you know. So what you have to do is put out a casting call. So with casting, you have to just think about, and I'll share an antidote here with you that might clarify some of these issues that a lot of even big Hollywood films have. So think of Iron Man, right? Now, when you look at Iron Man and you look at all the comic books of Iron Man, the character Tony Stark is a tall, handsome, well-built, chiseled jaw character. And then you have all of us, and it was hard to fill that role for them because he also has to come off as witty and sarcastic, and he almost has to have a sense of humor to him as well. So very few actors could fit both roles. Now it's easy when it's a comic book because you just draw a really chiseled, good-looking, tall, muscular man, and you put words and bubbles, and it makes him witty and smart, and he can be pulled off on paper. But it's much harder to find a character like that in real life, right? So what did the casting directors do at that time? They decided to shelf the idea of having him being tall, dark, and ruggedly handsome, and they went with Robert Downey Jr., who was pudgy at the time, a little short, much shorter. He was more towards the higher end of middle-aged man, right? He was even receding his hairline, but he was very witty. He was very sarcastic. He had great charisma. And even though the producers for the film were they were completely against it, they tried to shut it down multiple times. But the casting director and the decision made that film a success because of him, right? Now we can't see Iron Man unless it's Robert Downey Jr. playing the role of Tony Stark. So this is how important casting is, because you can have the greatest script, you can have the greatest, most beautiful production put together. But if you choose the wrong person for your story and you cast the wrong people for the film or for your commercial or for your music video, then what's going to happen is that the whole project is going to fall apart. So that's why I wanted to just emphasize that importance of making sure that you don't overlook casting. And very easily with independent filmmakers and student filmmakers, we fall into the trap of saying, okay, we'll just get my buddy, right? Or we'll just get this one actor I know. And it's really a lot of effort is not put in because obviously the budget isn't there, but you'll be surprised by how much you can really stretch those dollars, even if it's a big production, right? So for some big Hollywood productions, like for example, The Godfather, which was a huge film, the lead actor only got paid $20,000. And if you guys seen Wolf on Wall Street, which is a recent film, to cast Jonah Hill as Leonardo DiCaprio's sidekick or co-star, he only got paid $75,000 for the whole film. So really, sometimes, if the script is good and your story is good, you don't have to worry about too much about money. A lot of actors, because that's their passion, will definitely just come on board to cast. So don't ever try to cut corners with casting, and making sure that it's a vital part of what you're doing. Let me just show. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show you guys some famous casting auditions. And this just goes to show that some of these are for multi-million dollar films that are earned billions of dollars. And the actors are literally shooting it in their rooms, in their living rooms, behind green screens with iPhones, with bad, cameras. So this goes to show that it's as long as you can get as many casting submissions, that's the most important thing. So let me show you that right now. Can you guys see my screen here on YouTube or no?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah. Okay, let me see if it'll actually play here for a second. 1 second. Okay, let me share video for audio thing. Okay.
Well, thief, I smell you. I can hear your breath. So why don't you show yourself? You seem very familiar with my name, but I do not remember smelling one of your kind before. Who are you, and where do you come from, may I ask? Oh, yes, Barrel Rider. You may walk unseen, but you did not walk all the way on your own. I ate 6 ponies last night, and I shall catch and eat all the others before long.
Forget about the stupid game. Now close it up and put it away. Must have microchips in it or something. I've got $67.08.
That'll get you to New York. Where are you going to go after that?
Someplace where I don't have to go to moron school.
Hey, I'm Miley Cyrus, and I'm 12 years old. He had a birthday like 6 weeks ago. Okay. Oh, yeah, I don't have to tell you this. It's not his birthday. It's his puppet's birthday.
Malcolm Merrill and my child was and does hanging loose and brown.
I can only imagine what it is you're going through.
It was crazy. I guess when you can do what I can do, maybe you have a responsibility to do some good with it. Okay then.
God, I don't want to jump the gun. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah, I love adventure. Yeah.
Wow. You were here 5 minutes ago. I know, but I've dreamed about this for so long, and I still can't believe that I work here. So, what do you know about me? Well, I know you don't have a girlfriend, and I know you like to read a lot, which is why I brought you this.
Ah, a book that smells like cheese. I'm more into books that smell like meat.
Well, I hear if you wait a month, it's coming out on pepperoni bag.
I'm gonna have to ask you to leave now.
Yeah, I'll take my comedy card on the way out.
First, Tom was up for Thor. He trained, he came in, he was ripped, you know, he was swinging the hammer in the rain. He did a tremendous job, but he wasn't Thor. And the moment he came in and read, though, he was Loki.
I miss you. And I want things to go back how they used to be. You know, walking to school together, dancing on tables at Bungalow, night swimming at your mom's country house. You're like my sister, and with our families, we need each other.
Okay, I'm going to the meeting. We'll see if it.
Wait, what meeting?
The meeting with the city government.
Oh my God, are you actually doing that? This is so embarrassing.
I don't think it's embarrassing.
Well, you don't have a big dumb cast on your legs from falling in a big dumb hole. I just feel lame. It's like my girlfriend is fighting my battles for me.
Well, I'm just going to talk to these government guys and tell them they have to fill in their stupid pit. Do you not want me to go?
No. Go.
Absolutely nothing about them. And then 10 seconds later, you were playing like your best friends. Singing with you felt like that.
You stole the goat?
I didn't steal him. I liberated him.
Well, unliberate him.
We just have to get him to the farm tonight.
Why is me always included in we? The only thing we are doing is going to the concert.
Give up the goat. Never. We're taking him to the farm.
Again, the we.
My tears are like hydrochloric acid, it burns my face. I'm so depressed.
But the fading of the light. Let me take you there.
What's this about? The case? Her case. Her case? Suitcase, yes, obviously. The murderer took her suitcase, perfectly mistake.
No, sir. It's not gonna happen. Sorry.
You know, it's just these new stations are part of how Commissioner Swayzak's wrecking this department.
So she's got against us anyhow. Just because we don't have money and they do. Don't you find it peculiar that we both look so much alike and have the same birthday and... Oh, man, this is beyond coincidence.
You know what you do when you knock somebody off? You take a gun, you shoot him right up against his fucking head. That's what you do.
One time at band camp, I stuck my flute in my pussy.
Huh? Excuse me?
What, you don't think I know how to get myself off?
Spending the last 3 years chasing girls and making friends, I've spent them sitting around talking bullshit with you, you know?
Oh, God to be true, Aria. Sometimes you act like such a child.
Let the record show that I, Olive Pendergast, being of sound mind, ample-ish breast size, and the occasional corny knock-knock joke, do enter this video blog as evidence in the case against me. I confess that I, in no small part, am to blame for the vociferous gossip that has turned my varsity letter scarlet. However, for those of you who are hoping that the sizzling details of my sordid past will give you reason to lock your door and make love to a dollop of your sister's moisturizing lotion, well, you will be gravely disappointed.
I made a promise to a man. He gave me a ring, and I gave him my word.
And your word is shot to hell, don't you think?
Well, I don't know. I'll find out when I talk to him.
So you're not going to break your promise? That's what this is about? I thought it was about following your heart, Al. Don't take the easy way, Al.
Oh, what easy way out? There is no easy way out. No matter what I do, somebody gets hurt. It's not that simple.
Yes, it is, Al.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Sam Whitaker Whiteman. Wiki, Sam Wiki, right?
Just a half-sister. Not a good half at that.
Lived with my aunt and my uncle. She sat around on her fat ass all day long while he ran scams. Pirating video.
Doesn't matter. Bleak and I were gonna go to Gettysburg anyway.
Yes, the sex was tremendous, but it's not horseback riding, is it? For Christ's sake.
Creep. You don't give a damn about anyone. You don't give a fucking damn about anyone, so no one can care about you.
It's for you to do your job.
But as the philosopher Jagger once said, you can't always get what you want.
Hey, Claude. Listen, kid, about the only thing you've done to endear yourself to me is to get me into a fight, so listen to me. Shut up.
Lieutenant since 1985.
When we brought her in, I asked her to do this one scene, sort of this torture scene, very sort of intense, and she just blew my mind. She's reaching this depth of struggle, and tears were streaming down her face. I thought, this is unbelievable. And I asked her to stop, gave her a couple of adjustments, do it again, and she did it again, and I thought, oh my God.
I guarantee he would have disappointed you.
Get out of my head.
What are you eating?
Oh, it's one of those delicious falafel hot dogs with cinnamon and bacon on top.
There's a used coffee filter with cigarette butts on it.
Well, I got it out of the food basket at the end of the lunch line.
That's a garbage can. Although with the cooking here, there's not much difference. The cooking's very bad here.
Terrible!
The plans and specifications to a battle station with enough firepower to destroy an entire society.
But he did love me.
Radio's really stupid. They flew with his armor when he came. No, I'm just a sophomore, but I can feel the clock ticking away, and I don't want to leave high school with nothing to show for it.
You get great grades. You're a fantastic singer.
Everyone hates me. President of the celibacy club?
Yeah, for like 3 months. She's cool. Oh. What's that
For
for?
leading me on. It wasn't supposed to be funny. That was my serious. I'm gonna do it again. I want it all cry. I think he's afraid of you. Well, he's mine, and he lives with me, and he likes me. And he wants to stay here. He likes it here.
I can't even breathe. She's sucking this in my mouth. And then she starts licking it out of my mouth like a dog.
Tell you you're good, and you're ready to go buy the whole damn scam.
I am good.
It isn't about being good.
Fuck you! You know nothing about my life. I ain't never had no boyfriend.
All he's done for us, is set the land speed record for effed up childhoods.
Don't be overdramatic.
Dean, when I said I was scared of the thing in my closet, he gave me a 45.
Some stray like you with a giant stick up his ass, all of a sudden age, what, 50? He's just gonna break bad?
I'm 41.
It's weird.
She's part of the royal family. They won't get any information from her. She knows the art of mind control.
I don't want to be different. I don't want to be special. I just want to be like everyone else.
Tell Jen where you're from.
I'm from LA. From Los Angeles? Did you know Paul Simon wrote American Tuna's? Yeah. Did you know Paul Simon wrote American Tuna's reaction to Nixon's election?
No. You're taking the puzzles?
They know that. He was pissed off that definition of American didn't include everyone who came here.
I want to crush you. You're gonna be good in this role.
Hello? Are you alright? I said, are you alright there? I'm gonna call for help.
I don't need help. I'm fine, okay?
Are you sure you don't sound fine? It's okay, I'm human. I just don't have any hair. You sure you're okay? Sometimes I come here and scream too. You feel any better?
Huh?
Do you feel any better? Is the screaming help?
Okay, guys, so you can see here how the different casting for different types of Hollywood budget movies were. It's nothing special. It's nothing crazy. It's a bunch of people just filming or sending headshots of themselves in simple backgrounds, reading the dialogue. Some of the times they're even reading the dialogue straight from the page while they're looking down at the page, and they'll look back up. So it's not like they even have it even memorized, to be honest with you. But regardless, casting is so important because it allows you then to actually create the vision or story that you have in your mind that's on paper, and you can bring it to life on the screen. So let's go through some of the different types of casting. So there's more than this, but we're going to just generally lead it to three, basically. So you have the lead actor. That's the main actors around whom the story develops or evolves. So it could be, you can have 3 lead characters, you can have 2 lead characters, you can have 1 lead character. But regardless, it's never, unless it's an ensemble film, and even then, usually have 2 main lead characters, and then you have a few other minor lead characters. Now, after the lead characters, you have your supporting roles. And these are characters that help move the plot forward and provide depth to the story. They could be the mentor, the love interest, the sidekick, for example. And then after that, you have the background actors. And these are actors with minor roles. So often, some of them are without lines. So they're just like this, like it says, in the background. And then there's extras as well that sometimes have some 1 or 2 dialogues, like the bus driver or the valet, for example. So those are the 3 types of roles that you'll be casting for: the lead actors, the supporting roles, and the background and extras. Okay. And to keep that organized, what we do is we use the casting app for Cinecloud. So here you can see that I already have 2 casting submissions already, but let's just go through how you will add your own casting. So you just click here by saying, and let me just, and you guys can see my screen here too, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So here we just click on add cast, and you're able then to upload or browse an image. Okay. And you can just look for the image that you want and then add that in there. And then you can fill in these fields. The ones that have the stars or the asterisks, you need to add those information there. So the actor's name has to go in here for sure. So just put John. The role, it could be the lead, like as I mentioned to you, or it could be the supporting role or the main, some of the background role. The character's name, you have the actor's name, then you have the character's name on the script. So it's Mike here. Now, this other information, it's good to know, it's good to have: the height, the weight, the age, the build, the ethnicity, hair color, eye color. But it's not crucial, mainly because you have the image here as well. But it's good to add it in case you want to then filter your search for people that are just have submitted for Black Care, for example. I think I had some questions. Just let me see. Okay. No worries. Okay. So, and then we have the ability to leave notes here. So this could be something where you as a casting director write down something that's very important. Like, for example, maybe you liked his facial features, or you thought he wasn't a good part for the role. You can just leave some brief notes here. What's important is to have an email address here as well for the actor, because that way you can send him an offer, and we'll show you how that works. But if you put the email in here, so it'll be example@gmail.com. Phone number, the agent's name. A lot of times there is no agent, so you can just write none. Agent's number, you can write none. Sometimes they have websites, sometimes they have access to IMDb, sometimes they're union, so you can just click on union button. But the good news is that once you selected them and you're okay with it, if you click on yes, an email will be sent to this email address, letting them know that they've been chosen for that role. Okay. So you can create multiple casting members and with different roles. And it's important to just know that we've just updated this casting platform. So it might be a little bit buggy. You might have some issues. If you find any of them, you can just, again, click on support. You can draw on the screen and let us know what the issue is. Or you can record and let us know what the issue is as well. Okay. So how do you cast? So mainly you need a casting director, right? And what is the role of the casting director? The casting director acts as a bridge between the director, the producer, and the actors. So their role is to find the best talent for each role while balancing the creative vision with practical concerns like budgeting and scheduling. Now, the producer doesn't want to deal with this because, they might have play favoritism. They might like a certain actor. Maybe they'll do it for budgetary reasons, right? They're producing the commercial or the music video or the ad or the film, and they want an actor within a certain budget. And then the director, he's too invest. Now, sometimes the director obviously has the final say, and the director will sometimes also take the lead on the casting. But most of the time, the director knows that they're too invested in the project and that they might have tunnel vision. So they need other people to come in and give them opinions and different ideas. And that's where the casting director fits in. Okay. So super important that for every production company, for all the 4 groups, you guys assign a casting director. And again, it could be also the director, it could be the writer, but that you need to assign a casting director to one person. And they need to work closely with the director to make sure that they're getting their vision across. Okay. What is the key responsibility of a casting director? Well, the key responsibility is understanding the characters and interpreting the script. So you have to help match the character. Sometimes that means you have to physically match the character, right? So for example, in The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings, you can't get somebody who's 6'3" to play the lead role of the Hobbit, no matter how well they screen test, no matter how well they act, no matter how much you think they fit the role. The physicality of the role limits you to making sure that you pick specific actors for that specific role. Okay. So you have to literally interpret the script. Okay. Now, once you've done that, you've nailed it down. How do you find this talent? Well, there's a few ways. You can do talent scouting. So you can attend theater productions, you can watch demo reels, you can go on YouTube and scout that way. Just look for short films that were shot in your area. You can look for I'll go on Vimeo as well and see if anybody's put up a commercial or ad and look at those and who started it, and then you can reach out to them. That's one way. So you're scouting talent. You are proactively going and looking for your actor or actress. Then there's conducting auditions. Now you're holding an audition and people submit to you their headshots and their reels. Okay. Now you can organize this as an open or closed audition. So an open means that anybody can submit it and they can submit it at any time. Closed means that it's at a specific date at a specific time. So you can do both. Now, this is important because most of you guys don't have the bandwidth or the funds to do talent scouting in terms of actually going into physical locations on sets and looking at actors and in theater productions. But that doesn't stop you from going online, and it doesn't stop you from holding auditions online, right? You don't have to hold physical auditions where people come in. They can submit to you. So some of the biggest challenge then is once you find your actor or actresses is that they have to work together, right? They're not isolated islands of themselves, right? So it's important that there's some chemistry. So what you need to do is then reads. And reads are basically you get two of the actors together in the same room that you've shortlisted, right? Because you're going to have a short list of actors, right? Here, it's a short list. No. So we're not going to like these actors. But if you shortlist them, maybe it'll be different. Okay. So you can shortlist and have a selection of actors that you like. You get these actors to come into a room and you get them to read together. Now, you do that because you want to see if there's chemistry, if they work well together. Okay. So that is a very, very important thing to do. Sometimes we just like to cast and we say, okay, we got the audition tape. It was great. It works. They work well for that scene or for that short or for that film. But there's no then chemistry between your leads and your supporting actors. Background actors, to be honest with you, is not as important. And that you can kind of just, I don't want to say make shortcuts, but you can really not focus all your energies there if you don't have to. Okay. So what we want to look at is the breakdown of roles, the casting process now. Okay, so the first step of the casting process is to define each role based on the script. So the casting item outlines the requirement for the age. Again, very important. So you have the age. Sorry, I think somebody's not muted there. Okay, I think everybody's muted now again. Okay. So it's important to break down the roles in terms of height, weight, age, and gender as well. Okay. So when you get self-audition tapes, it's important that you have a callback for them and let them know if they've been, asked to come again and read for you, or if you've declined their role for them as an actor. And if you have callbacks, the directors often narrow down their choice to a few actors per role. So the callbacks won't be for every single person that's submitted for that role. It'll be just the top 3 that you've shortlisted. So if you have 3 that you've shortlisted as a maybe, before changing them to a yes, what you want to do is you want to get them to come back in a callback and make one more final decision based on that. Okay. And these callbacks can be done through Zoom. You can ask them to do it in person if it's feasible. You can ask them to submit another tape. Okay. Once you have the casting, then it's time to negotiate the contracts. And this is where, and we'll touch on this a little bit later with when we have apps for that as well. But this is a little bit above the scope for you guys, but it's good to know what the casting process entails. Because let's just say you found the perfect actor, they've read it, they work well with their leads and their supporting actors. However, before you get them to jump on board, you need to make sure that they are okay with the pay, or maybe not the pay, but what they're going to get out of it at the end. So if you've promised them that they can use it for their demo reel, for example, a lot of independent films do that. They say, okay, we can't pay you a lot of money, but we'll cover your transportation, we'll cover your food, and then we'll make sure that we can give you an edit of the film that then you can then use as promotion and put online and post as well. So that's another way to negotiate what's in a contract. Okay. Some of the challenges that you're going to face in the casting process is typecasting, right? Casting directors sometimes have a hard time looking beyond an actor's previous role, right? So if they played a villain, they're almost always overlooked as a hero for the film. And that sometimes might happen when you guys are talent scouting and you guys are, scrummaging through YouTube videos and looking online for actors and maybe a different role that you've seen them in. But you can't visualize them as anything else, because whenever you see them on screen, you always see them as a villain or as a hero or as the main sidekick, for example, and you can't picture them as the main character. So try not to typecast. It's hard to do, but you have to be always conscious about it. Another challenge that you have to be aware of is the budget and availability of the actor. So let's just say, sometimes the ideal character for the role is just unavailable due to scheduling. He's shooting another film, or she's maybe on another project starting, and they can't commit to you. So you have to take that into consideration, as well as the budget. Are they within your budget? Again, some actors, if they love the project, if they love your idea, they'll do it. Jay and I were able to get, some really good actors on the film for American Grace. And that was the one that I showed you the other time. And I'll send out some of the, I know some of you guys weren't in the class when we showed it last time. But what we'll do is we'll resend you some of our work that we've done previously as an email, so you can just go through it and have a better understanding of what we're saying when we're talking about which film. So for American Grace, we got some really well-known actors that were on TV that had done a lot of work, and we got them basically for almost close to nothing because they liked the project. So it can be done. So don't be shy that you're a student or you're an independent filmmaker to reach out to some of these guys that are doing well on maybe social media or have a large following, or they've been on a few TV shows. You'll be surprised at how many of them would want to still be on your production if they like the story. Okay.
Yeah. And I just want to add something to that. Because what Manny's basically saying is, we always have a saying in the Caribbean, a closed mouth doesn't get any food. But so don't be afraid just to ask people, because sometimes they're looking for opportunities. There's a lot of actors that are not getting work, and they'll be happy to do something to add to their reel. So you could pitch to them, hey, we're working with this cool startup that's creating a platform for filmmakers, and we feel it's going to get a lot of attention in the future. So this could be a good opportunity for you to be in a commercial that they might use on their platform when they're doing their marketing campaign. And then there you go. So there's a lot of angles that you can actually use to try and get people involved. This is where your sales skills come in as a producer. And, it's just trying to see how you can make something happen. Like, we firmly believe in the art of the possible. So, just don't be surprised. We were surprised about some of the actors that we basically launched, basically about 6 or 7 actors' careers from our independent film.
Yeah, and these guys went on to do like they
Star Trek, Working Moms, other series. It was incredible.
And they were thankful for us at the end of it, and they would email us, a few months later saying, we used your film and your production to send out to the casting director, and it was very important for us, for their career. So a lot of actors know that. So don't ever be shy. Like Jay said, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. You just ask, and a no is a no. And if you get a no, it's okay. That's just a maybe until you get a yes. Right. So think of it that way. So now, you always have to be, like everything else in film, you have to be really creative when it comes to the casting, right? Because casting is an art form. And we want you guys to really, really think about that. Why? Because you have to think outside of the box sometimes. Like, one example is Heath Ledger for the Joker, right? In The Dark Knight, right? This guy was known previously for playing romantic roles. He was a heartthrob. He was a teen idol when he was younger, when he was in his 18, 20s. So people didn't really see him as somebody who was dark and complex like the Joker. But you'd be surprised. Again, if you're creative enough, you can pull a lot out of an actor. Okay. And another thing that actors really like is to see if you're organized, and to see if you have all your ducks in a row, right? If you're everywhere and scattered, then they're not going to feel confident in taking that chance and spending those hours on set with you. And this is again where Cinecloud is. We're trying to give you that organization, that structure, so you always present yourself with the best foot forward, right? Okay. Just something really important that we want to talk about. I think this is important nowadays as more than it was previously, is that diversity and inclusion in casting, right? Audiences today are more diverse than they were ever. So you want to see that reflected on the screen. Casting decisions can play a significant role in promoting inclusion and helping telling authentic stories. You guys are going to be able to tell the stories that you want from your own point of view, and you can reach out to other people that are within your same group of diversity, a group, and you can show them and tell a story, and you can set examples for them. So it's super important to have that diversity and inclusion as well. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to focus on the technology side of things. So this is, again, going to be very important. Now, you're going to use, for your casting, you're going to use a few different platforms, right? You're going to use Cinecloud to organize all your casting. You're going to use websites like Mandy, for example, to have casting calls. You're going to use YouTube to scout and try to look for talent as well. And you're going to have Zoom to hold your casting calls. So you guys are going to be using technology basically to move forward with your production or your pre-production. Okay, so super important to be familiar with all those platforms. Any questions about casting so far? Okay. So what we're going to do then, we have time, we're going to move to project scheduling. Okay. So the project scheduler is, again, in the pre-production, because what you want to do is you want to basically plan out your production in the different stages and what's due and who has to do what. And you have to figure out the list and the priority of all the work that needs to be put in order to get your production off the ground. Okay, so it's to provide a comprehensive understanding of scheduling a film production from the initial development stages to distribution. So some key points we're going to figure out is that there are several stages: development, and we've kind of broken it down for you here: pre-production, production, post, and distribution. So the first stage, the first phase, is development scheduling, right? So here is the foundation of the entire film. During this stage, the script is developed, right? So if you go into development here, you just click on this arrow and you can put a task in there. So you can just write script, okay? Or you can do brainstorming, right? So this is you're coming up with the ideas, for example. Now, how long is a brainstorming going to take? Do you want 1 day, 2 days, right? As soon as you increase it to 2 days, you'll notice that your development days have also increased as well with it, okay? Your script writing can be 1 day if you want. But ideally, let's zoom out a little bit here. Ideally, your brainstorming is going to be maybe 5 days, and then your script writing is going to be another 8 days, for example, okay? And there's more to it than that. For example, you can have finding a writer, right? Before you even get to writing your script, you can say, we want to find a writer here. Okay. So that might take you a few days just to get you to look for and talk to a writer, but you can set out the time and the duration of that, how long that's going to take. And once you click on finding a writer, you can double click on it. It's on the timeline itself to take you to the task editor. This is what the name of it is, when the start of it is, when the date, when it's supposed to end, how many days it's going to take you, and what stage are you on? Is it on hold? Is it in progress? Is it in review? Is it approved? You could say you're 60% completed or 70% completed. You can also write a description of what you need, because sometimes just writing find a writer isn't enough. You need to be very specific. So here you can say you're looking to find a character dialogue screenwriter, and you're looking for him to have specialty in romantic comedies. Okay. Then you can assign this to someone in your team, right? You can say I can say, for example, this is Jerry's responsibility. He's going to be the producer. And the estimated weight of this, you don't have to worry about it now. That's for bigger productions. That's for, how much of the role or responsibility Jay is going to take. Okay. And now you can add different roles just by clicking this plus button, or you can delete as well. Okay. Now you can also move things down and move things up. You can also delete them as well. And you can, as I mentioned to you, you can magnify it. So you can zoom out by seeing all of October is this long, or you can zoom in and look at it on a weekly basis. Okay. So let's talk about development here. So some of the milestones for development is going to be script development. That allows time for multiple drafts, right? Now you guys are going to write your commercials for Cinecloud. Now that's going to be a 30-second to a minute commercial. I can almost guarantee you that the first draft of the script is not going to be the script that you guys are going to shoot with. Okay. You might have to revise it once or twice. For a film production, that's going to take much longer. So always look at realistic schedules, which allocates time for feedback, rewrites, and final approval. Okay. So it's super important. So when you're finding a writer or writing a script, you're not going to automatically connect with the first writer you meet. And you're probably going to have to go through maybe 10, 20, 30, 40 writers. So always give yourself, when you're scheduling, some leeway. Okay. And just make sure that you're always saving as you go along here. And whenever you make some changes, it'll be a red button, and you just press save and it'll be a blue button. Okay. Okay. And then we have, after you have your script, you're going to start doing pre-production, right? Which is important. Now, for the pre-production, it's going to be some key components. You're going to do your budgeting, right? That's important. And we talked about that on Saturday. You're going to do hiring of your crew, right? You're going to do location scouting. And you're going to do what we just talked about, casting. Okay. And you can add to casting, you can add under casting, you can add multiple different other things that you need to do under casting. Okay. Then you also have set construction, wardrobe preparation as well, props, transportation, catering. All of that will have to go into your pre-production, and all of that will then have to be given time on how long it'll take. Okay. Some will take more than others. This is your production, I apologize. But some will take more than others. Some will take much less. Okay. But again, every time you move things along, you'll see here that this will also be updated in real time. And then you have your production. So for production, you want to make sure that you have an efficient shooting schedule. So here you'll have your production, you put shooting schedule. Okay. You'll have call sheets, right, as well. These are important things that you have to do on a daily basis. And we'll talk about call sheets later. And that's basically just to tell people, you want to reach out to them and you want to make sure that they know what time they're supposed to be on set and what time and how long they're shooting, for example. And then we'll move on to post. And just by the way, guys, sometimes these lists are going to get very long, right? Because there's so much to do in pre-production, right? There's so much to do in development that you can always collapse these as you go along. So if you just don't want to focus and be bogged down with development because there's so much and you're going to get, your attention is going to drift to there, you can just collapse it and you'll know that you have, for example, these many days to work on your production development, but you don't have to look at every single line item. Okay. So for post, you're going to be doing a few things here as well. Editing, right? That's one. You're going to be doing VFX, sound and design. And color grading as well. Right? And again, there's milestones for each of this. For the editing, it's just not going to be one line sync editing. You're going to have other things underneath the editing, right? You're going to have a rough cut first, right? So you're going to have multiple things that you're going to have to add onto here, okay? And again, just remember to save, otherwise your project won't be saved here. And then you have distribution. So this means that in here, distribution for you guys is easy. It's a due date. You just have to submit it to us, right? So it's a due date submission. That's all it is for you guys here. And you can say that you have, like 12 days or whatever it is to do that, to submit it for us. Okay. However, in a real production, when you guys are doing a short film or a film, you guys have to know when are the submissions to the film festival, right? So here you have to understand that, okay, I need to have the film completely in the can, and in the can just means completed, edited, ready to go by this date, whatever date that you decide, right? It can be all the way up in January, for example. So you have to know, okay, and just taking a glance here, you'll see easily that the project will start in October, mid-October, which we're now in, and it'll end in January. And you can get a good understanding of how long the production is going to take, right? So 2.5 months approximately. But you'll also have under distribution, you'll also have theater releases. If you guys are fortunate enough to go into theaters, you guys need to put that in, and that has to be planned out as well. Okay. You also have to understand that with all of this comes marketing, right? And promotion. So, if you know that your film festival is in January, or you're releasing it into the theaters in, let's just say, December, then your marketing has to be done by end of November. Okay. So this is how you stay organized. Now I can almost tell you guys, and I'm going to tie this to before we go, because we have only a few minutes, I'm going to tie this down to your casting. If you invite an actor, a potential actor, to this, and you have all your ducks in a row like this, and you have it all broken down, and everything is a tight schedule, and everything is where it's supposed to be, that's going to give confidence to an actor who's going to say, okay, this might be a small budget, but where they're lacking in finance, they have heart and they have hard work. And that will go a long way. So again, super important to be organized, to be efficient, to work together as a team. So that way you can attract the best talent for your film production. So the reason why I did project and casting together today is to show you how important those two things are to each other. Okay. Let me just save that and I'll just go back to my project schedule. Okay. Any questions or concerns? Anything that anybody want to bring up? Yeah, go ahead, Evie.
So for the film that we're doing, do we have to hire actors or can we like use it ourselves?
No, you can use yourselves. You can use yourself. And I'll send you guys a commercial that Jay and I did, and you'll see that Jay is in one of the shots. It was an Under Armour commercial, in fact. So you can use yourselves, but I would highly suggest, and I think Jay would as well, and Dennis as well, is to really try to go through the casting process if you can. Even if you get nobody, even if you guys don't get anybody, put out a casting call. Send you some links for that to Mandy, to a few casting sites. Get some submissions. Do a call. Jay, I think that's your end. Do a casting call and see what you get. But even if you decide to just work within your own selves as well. Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys should definitely do casting calls, as Manny's mentioned, just because it just allows you to go through the whole process of what it's like to actually do a proper production. And you never know. You might get an actor or two to bite and it ups the production quality, right? So, and then now you're working with somebody. So this shows you got to be organized, you got to be structured, you got to make sure, on the day of the shooting, you got your call sheets out, so we want you guys to actually learn how to do it right. Like don't get me wrong, if you guys are doing casting, you guys should all have people audition for the roles regardless, right? So you can go through that process and see what it feels like.
Yeah, even if it's, and that's a great point, Evie. Like even if it's within your team, have them submit and film or record them doing an audition tape, and then and then you can review it, and then you can shortlist them. So just good to get into the habit of that.
Okay. So before we wrap up, just real quick, guys. So let's make sure Saturday we have like a full attendance. So talk to all your comrades and colleagues that are missing today, and especially Adam. I think your group's really short. Get a commitment from all your guys to attend, because we will go through the assignment one more time, and we're hoping that now that everyone has a production company name, that we'll maybe spend some time listening to some of your ideas that you guys are coming up with the commercial and help guide you guys in the right direction. But let's start moving forward on that, and then we'll have I guess Manny, we'll talk about the actual date where we want them to start, right?
Yeah.
We'll keep doing the training, and all the leads. Make sure you guys can set up your teams in Cinecloud. So you got to you have to invite each person on your team, and an email should go out to them. So make sure you verify that they're all set up and they've all accepted, so we can look on the back end and see that you guys have your 4 productions are in there, right, Manny?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So if anyone has any other questions or anything for myself or Manny, we know some of these sessions are a little long and you can lose a little bit of interest. Try to focus and take some notes, because it really will help you and help us understand, what we can improve on the app, and we want to make sure that we give you guys a tool that you guys can really, really utilize in productions.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So we'll meet up on Saturday again. Okay.
Okay. Take care.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Have a good night, guys. Manny.
All right, so happy Thanksgiving over there, I guess. Right? It's Thanksgiving?
Yeah, we just had it. Thanks, Avion. And like you guys know, if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to us directly. You have our emails. So
yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so if you have any ideas you want to run by or whatnot, then let us know, Avion. I know you got a little creative bug in there, so we appreciate that.
Yep, definitely. We got you.
Okay. Oh, awesome, guys.
All
I
right.
appreciate it. Take care.
All right. Yeah, you too. Y'all too.